And we're back. One final video, a short one, I promise. Molecules and mixtures. I wanted you to be familiar with these terms because we'll be referring to mixtures, especially certain kinds of mixtures throughout the course. And when we say molecules, what are we really referring to? When we think about matter, how everything, stuff is organized, it can be combined into molecules and mixtures. Molecules are going to be held together by chemical bonds. That's the key difference, the key feature about molecules versus mixtures. Molecules are held together, and I'll show you some examples in a second, by chemical bonds. And a compound is when we have different kinds of elements combining. So here's some examples. You see up here hydrogen, we have two hydrogens, we have oxygen, chlorine. We can refer to these as molecules of chlorine gas, oxygen gas, hydrogen gas, because it's just one kind of element. But if you see something like ammonia or methyl alcohol or methane, we refer to these as compounds because it's two or more different kinds of elements combined together. But here's the key thing. These are still molecules because they are joined together, they're held together by chemical bonds. When we talk about mixtures, these are going to be two or more components that are physically mixed but are not chemically joined, chemically connected like we see in molecules. And you'll see three different kinds of mixtures: solutions, colloids, also called emulsions, and suspensions. So let's just look at some examples of these. A solution is when we have a mixture of two or more substances and they're dissolved together. Typically speaking, the thing that is dissolved is the solute. The thing that is being dissolved in is the solvent. And of course, there's going to be lots of solutions we're going to look at in the body for A and P. But typically speaking, again, you're going to dissolve it because it's going to simply be mixed together. And when you try to shine light through it, you're not going to scatter light. It's going to be, everything is going to be so dilute, you really don't see it. The particles are small. In colloids, you see there the particles are a little bit larger and they don't separate into layers. When you mix them together, they don't settle out. And if you try to shine light through it, you're going to see kind of a scattering effect because the light's going to kind of bounce off the particles that are in there. And that's called a colloid or an emulsion. Suspensions are going to be, you see there, heterogeneous. That is, lots of different parts. If you give them long enough, because the particles are so large, they're going to settle out and eventually they're going to precipitate out and you'll have separation. Think about, again, the example they have here, sand and water or muddy water. If you have mud and water and you give it long enough, the mud is going to float or sink to the bottom of the water. Sand is going to sink to the bottom. If you have a suspension like vinegar and oil, eventually you get a separation. That's a suspension. Blood is a great example. I'll go back for just 1 second. Blood's a great example of a suspension because if you separate blood, that is, if you spin it around real fast, the heavier stuff, in this case the cells, settle out of solution. So as a recap, think about how things are kind of put together. Some things are chemically put together. Those are molecules or compounds, but they're chemically connected. Mixtures are going to be physically connected, but not chemically connected. And the examples of mixtures, again, are solutions, colloids, cytosol that refers to the stuff inside of a cell, and suspensions. That does it for this video. You have some homework to do and a quiz to take. Thanks very much.